Good. Hey there, West Virginia sports fans, Big 12 sports fans, and anybody who's a fan of ACC schools, jumping ship and coming over to play ball in the Big 12. Welcome. Joey, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm excited that there's news going on. Right, we got all this talk of scrambling in the ACC, but what's really got me interested is, and we've been talking about this for the show. You were talking about now the ACC could drop below 14 teams and it could dissolve ESPN. So explain that. So
Yeah. So there's a magic number, and what had happened is through the why Florida State and Clemson decide to sue, and this is I heard this morning on, of course, uh, on a podcast or two, is they were holding the contract itself very close to the vest, and once Florida State got the verbiage that's in the contract that stated that once they go to under 14 teams, the ESPN, who has the TV rights, once that falls under 14, they can just step away and not pay them. So with that, it puts Florida State, Clemson, other ACC schools at risk, and that's the basis of their legal action and why they want to leave the conference, because they're better off, and many schools are, just being an independent rather than have that happen, having no home. So it's pretty much a done deal that the ACC by the end of summer is you're going to have other schools jumping ship. And let me explain why they want to jump ship by that time frame. Because they want to stay under that 14 so that they can, forgo the exit fee. And then you don't have SMU, Stanford, and Cal coming in to, make the water murkier. Not that it's already messy.
Well, see, that's the thing about that. They come in July, right? They come in July. SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Now, here's my thought on this: is that Florida State and Clemson could go to the ACC and say, "Look, here's what's going to happen. We drop out now. You're going to drop below your 14 teams, and other teams could start jumping ship on you, and it could dissolve your conference. But we'll make a deal with you. We won't do anything. We'll stay in here until July. SMU and all them come in, but you let us out after that. When they get in, we get out free and clear. Otherwise, we leave early and dissolve the conference that way. But I can help you save this conference. You help us scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. So let us out for free, and we'll wait until them both three are in to do anything further. And it would save the ACC, maybe.
Maybe not, because here's the other thing. It's just going to delay the inevitable. I think there's going to be, once they start poaching, and it's just going to be a Cold War. And this is the way I foresee it. And I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again. It's the Big 10 and SEC on top of the mountain. Is there room? Hey, Tim Green, is there room on top of that mountain for the Big 12? I'm not 100% convinced. I think it's going to be those two teams, and then just a little bit below them is the Big 12 hanging on. And gradually, they're going to take on water, and the SEC and Big 10 will just poach the teams they like from the Big 12. That's my prediction. But let's right now.
You think Florida State. So you're thinking Florida State and Clemson would probably come to the Big 12 right now then?
No. I think the Big 10 is going to take Florida State and Clemson. And then what's going to happen is the SEC is going to step in and take two other teams or maybe three or four. And it's going to be a Cold War. It's going to be literally SEC and Big 10 taking whoever they can that are premium brands. and the Big 12 is going to be stuck trying to, the best that Brent Yormark can is trying to attract good programs like a Louisville or a Pitt that don't get in that first go, trying to bring them on board, much like they did with West Virginia. West Virginia was just, oh my gosh, let's find there's only 3 life rafts, let's jump on one. And it's going to be like that, because Wake Forest, Boston College, Syracuse, they're going to be looking for a home, and there's not going to be any room for them, because you have even Georgia Tech, another program. They have a national championship, in the early 90s. They're going to be left out. I think they shared a national championship with Colorado in 91. But, you have like the premier brands. Let's take Clemson, Florida State out of the mix. Take them out of the mix. They're gone. They're going to, I believe, the Big 10. Let's just say they're going to the Big 10. If I'm the SEC, I'm trying to get Louisville. I'm trying to get Virginia Tech. I'm trying to get UNC or Miami.
I don't see SEC looking at Louisville. They've already got Kentucky.
Right,
They've got
right
down there. I don't see them going towards Louisville at all.
Yeah, that's why the Big 12 has that, has the opportunity to snatch Louisville and snatch Pitt, because if they don't show interest immediately, now the first few teams that are available, I think the SEC is going to be pretty selective. But once the Big 10 gets like a third or a fourth team from the ACC, you're going to have them all pushing to fill those 24 spots or 22 spots, whatever they're going to have. It's going to be a race.
I don't
know. It's chaos.
Well, see, I just don't know that the SEC is going to move right now. Here's why. I think there's some teams out of the Big 12 that the SEC would be interested in before some of those teams out of the ACC.
I hope.
And so I think now here's my thought on this. And I know everybody's saying FSU and Clemson to the Big 10. I'm not seeing that. I see Clemson to the Big 10. I don't see FSU to the Big 10. I just don't. The FSU is not an AAU school. And I know it's not a requirement necessarily for the Big 10, but they never accepted a school that didn't have AAU status, never one time. And they've often turned schools down because they didn't have AAU status. They've turned teams down. So bringing in Florida State, I don't see that happening. I think SEC gets Florida State. Okay. I think Clemson does go to the Big 10. I think Miami goes to the Big 12. I do believe that.
That would be good.
But I think the other team for the SEC besides FSU is going to be UNC. And then I think the other team for the Big 10 besides I think they would take Clemson. I think the other one besides Clemson they would take is Virginia. So I see them taking Clemson and Virginia, and I see SEC taking North Carolina and FSU, SEC country. And
I can see UNC going to, like you're saying, going to the SEC. I can see them going to the Big 10.
Yeah, and I can see Miami and Pitt coming to the Big 12.
Yeah,
maybe Virginia taking Louisville as well. So them 4 teams coming to the Big 12, and then the SEC and Big 10, got their 2 each. And I think it calms down. I think there's no more for a while. I think after that,
kind of like what the Big East did. Like you had your Boston College leave and your Miami leave.
I think it's just going to rest after that happens. I just feel like they'll rest for a little bit. Because you got some good programs out there now. You got Florida State, Clemson now in the SEC and Big 10. Then you have Virginia and North Carolina in the Big 10, and then you have Miami going into either the Big 10 or Big 12. I think that they might even fit in the SEC in the Big 10. I mean, because of their AAU status.
Yeah.
So I just think that Big 12 is going to be great because it's going to be able to pick up a Pitt or Virginia Tech. I feel like Louisville and maybe even a Miami, but I still think Miami's going to go to one of the bigger conferences.
I think Louisville is a bigger get, and I want Jackson and Tim to tell me if I'm smoking crack. Louisville is the best brand left over, in my opinion, bang for the buck out of all the other teams. Because I mean, I was watching and a podcast, and they were talking about what the revenue is for just the football sales for tickets. And I was surprised to see Louisville, very high up in the ACC, right up there with Clemson and Florida State for revenue from ticket sales. And, I think it's a great brand. It's a great brand for basketball. I mean, I know football drives the bus, but come on, basketball is revenue, and we're going to get into basketball in a minute. We're going to shit on the Big 12.
Timothy asking, I have a question. What would you guys think if Miami came to the Big 12?
Tim, I would love it. I would love Miami to come. I remember '93. They were Mountaineers were throwing whiskey bottles at the bus, and I remember the '96 game where it was 7-3, and then Miami blocked the punt and ran it in for a touchdown, and then it was 10-7, and they lost. So
we got Jackson Johnson here, and then also Timothy says, I think we'll help the Big 12.
Big help.
Yeah, I think that was a good rivalry games back in the day between West Virginia and Louisville.
05, 03, 04, really 05, 06. Yeah, great years for that rivalry.
Good era of football for both programs.
Yep.
And West Virginia might have been a little better over the stretch than Louisville, but Louisville was right there with them. And then you got Miami, who was a dominant team in the late 80s and 90s, up to the 90s. They were just a dominant football program.
Yeah, until 2001, they were the Miami was the gold standard, and I think that Ott team, that 0001 team, was one of the best teams in college football in the past 50 years. Could be in the conversation for top 5.
But I'd like to see. Here's what I like to see. I'd like to see conference realignment just do something, just shit or get off the pot here. I mean, I just can't stand this. These announcements from these programs, and then they go quiet and they go silent. They don't give you no updates, and you're sitting here forever, and you're doing this every week because all of a sudden some reporter puts out something that picks up a little bit of steam. Somebody's even, or somebody said something, or somebody's done something, and then we were back here the next week to talk about that.
Yeah,
I get tired of that. I really hate that. I'd rather just get this shit over with. Let's just move it along. Move this conference realignment along, and then we know who we're playing, and then we got something to really talk about. Hey, what's it going to be like?
Yeah,
I'd much rather be sitting here right now talking about West Virginia's schedule this year and facing Florida or Miami, Florida, and facing UCF, facing Cincinnati, facing Pitt, facing Virginia Tech. I would much rather be seeing a schedule like that and talking about that. So that, and also we could talk about, hey, we're headed to Blacksburg for Virginia Tech game. We're headed to the Pitt game. We can go to some games.
Yeah, that would be great. And here's the thing, Joey. There's some benefits, not just for the Big 12, but I think some of these programs, some of these programs like your Boston colleges, the folks that are on the outside looking in, Boston College, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Georgia Tech, those schools are going to benefit. They're not going to be, doing the same thing, say that Missouri is by going into the SEC and making, $80 million a year. Right. They can survive by being and Notre Dame has the mold, although they're Notre Dame, but Boston College could be that team that you schedule as your 10th, game, or maybe your second game of the season. Or, the same's true with Syracuse because they have credibility, they have history, they look good on paper, they look good on a schedule, and they're not going to be frowned upon when you go to compete for that, 10th, 11th, 12th spot in the playoffs or getting at large because they're a decent program. Now, they're not going to be as competitive, okay? But I can see that happening for a few years until the things sort out. That's the only answer that's the only thing they can do to survive.
Yeah. The only other thing that I could say to help that would help college football, help the Big 12, I think too, is just split it up and have a Big 12 West and a Big 12 East. And
Yeah.
keep all those teams. Take
Yeah.
out Cincinnati, UCF, and West Virginia out of that, right? And leave the
Yeah.
rest of the teams over there, and that can be a Big 12 West. And now start looking at teams in the East, especially if the ACC starts falling apart. Definitely, you got to grab some of
Yeah.
those teams and build a good, strong Big 12 East division. Now, I don't know. You're not going to be able to pick up enough teams to cover everything as far as what they'll have in the Big 12
It'll
West,
help.
but
It'll
it'll
help.
help. And
Yeah.
we might be the weakest division in college football if that happens. Think about it.
Yeah.
The Big 12 East would probably be the weakest power conference
Yeah.
of all of them. Not saying that we
Unless you
couldn't
get
beat a lot
Miami.
of them.
If you get Miami and Virginia Tech and Pitt and Louisville, and you got your 4, that's your 4 to give you 20. That is a stout third power conference, ladies and gentlemen. That is great news for West Virginia fans.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I'd like to see that. But like I say, the ACC and Big 12 could merge and just make a Big 12 East.
Yeah.
And a Big 12 West. That would save the conference. That wouldn't. It's not going to hold Clemson and Florida State, but that's okay.
No.
They could leave, and you could merge the rest of them.
Right.
But now, honestly, do we want some of these teams in the Big 12? No. I mean, there's no need. Look, I love Syracuse. I love the old rivalries with Syracuse, but Syracuse is a dumpster fire. We really don't want them.
Yeah.
So is Boston College. They're a dumpster fire anymore. They're a shell of a team. We don't want them. There's teams like Virginia. I don't want Virginia. I might want their basketball program. I don't want their football program. So Virginia is going to be 10 most likely. So we don't have to worry about them. But then you've got a lot of these other programs. Do you want them or not? How about NC State? Do you want NC State? Hey, they're in the Final Four, right?
No, basketball, but that's a one-off Cinderella story, and we'll talk about that.
That's a Cinderella story, and so you got a decent football program, but it's sure not as good as North Carolina, and it's sure not as good as some of these other teams in the ACC. I don't think. I think Louisville's a better program. I don't think Pitt's a better program than North Carolina State, but I do think it would be better money for the Big 12 to bring in Pitt other than NC State.
You're going to sell more, I don't know about the rivalry between UNC and NC State. It's a good one, but I don't think it's going to sell as many tickets as your Louisville, West Virginia game, your West Virginia, Virginia Tech game, your West Virginia Pitt game. Heck, your Pitt, Virginia Tech game. These teams don't like each other. NC State, you could give two craps about. Let's talk real quick. Let's transition out of this. We could just talk for an hour on this because I know you're short on time. NC State was 17-14. They lost 7 of their last 9 games before winning every 5 games in a row to win the ACC tournament. That's no small feat. And now they're dancing in the Final Four, and they look stout. And I'm not just talking about that big. They're big. Who's stout? The guy looks.
Isn't that funny to go 17-14?
Yeah,
and yet here you are in a Final Four. Have you ever? I mean, you've heard of that. That's the Cinderella story, but it's just not likely. I don't know of any team that's ever lost that many games being in a Final Four. I can't think.
No, it's never happened. This DJ Burns is, man, that guy looks like he should be an offensive tackle. Okay. And he's getting up and down the court and yeah, he's not your typical basketball build. And he has a smile that lights up the room. I love he was giving Duke a little bit of shade at the end of the game, kind of danced a little bit, but not being over the top disrespectful. It's fun for college basketball. It's a breath of fresh air. I'm rooting for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, I am too. Now you got to root for Cinderella. Anybody can do that. So I'm trying to see if I'm checking.
Yeah, They haven't done it since '83. So that's, and then let's tie this into a little bit of Mountaineers talk. Okay. Is it DeVries or DeVries? I'm going to say it both. DeVries. Well, DeVries used to be like a technical school up here in Pennsylvania. So I always think of someone going and learning to be an electrician or, a computer programmer or something. So when I hear that, but okay. So we have a new coach, his son, who is not only, top player in the transfer portal, he's the number 1 guard in the transfer portal. And he's tied overall. 5 guys have the same rating as him. So, but he comes number like 4 or 5 out of all positions, not just guards. West Virginia got him. My question, and this is to Tim and Jackson. I think, this is my opinion. I don't think he can fill every coaching slot immediately. I think he goes to McCabe, who was at the press conference, Jordan McCabe. I think he goes with maybe one more other in-house guy to be an assistant coach. And I think, we're talking, today is the 2nd. It's been just 24 hours he's had that seat. He officially started on the 1st, Joey. Right. So what recruiting has he done? I don't know. Does he have Tucker out there calling a few buddies? Because they can. I looked at the regulations. He can call all he wants, and when you're a player, you
can do what you want to do. There is no meddling.
No,
they can do pretty much what they want to do. So yeah, I'm sure he's got friends that he's calling. Who's calling friends? He's calling friends, and trying to help his dad build a team up there to be able to compete. Not going to be an easy feat in year 1, right? And I know we talked about that. A lot of people are saying, well, he's going to be fantastic, and West Virginia's going to win it all year 1. I mean, that's just crazy talk. We don't even have a team yet. We don't have a team.
Yeah, I think they have penthouse dreams, but we don't have an outhouse budget.
Right.
We still can make a push and get a good team. But this, Joey, this is something that was said during the press conference that I wrote down. Coach DeVries said, I want to build culture. So he basically said he's not willing to sacrifice winning early and not building the culture. He wants the guys with the great attitude. He wants the guys that are willing to work, to buy in, and he wants to slowly build this, program. And it's starting with a good foundation. He was just over the moon talking about how fantastic the facilities are, and they are fantastic. And today, 10 years ago, that was $24 million. So you build that today, it has to be $75 million, that facility. So, that is a top 5 nationwide. That's a top 5 facility. And Tim Green said, I bet one thing you're going to win more than 9 games. Amen, Tim. He's going to win more than 9 games. I think I would literally bet that he has maybe let's say 9 losses next year. That's not 9 wins. He might be 20-6. I mean, 25 wins he's had 4 years in a row, and he was there 6 years. So it took him 2 years to dig himself out of the hole without the NIL money that he has. And I'll tell you what, I went through and looked and tried to pair up and see familiar faces in the crowd during that presser that was a nightmare because of the comms. But there were some donors that I have not seen in and around the program or in the stands. So there's a lot of fresh faces. I'm hearing rumors that the NIL money is going to be there because they're digging this coach. They're digging this hire. Ren Baker has them on track, and they 22 wins. Tim Green, 22 wins. What do you think?
Well, now let me ask you, are you a member of the collective?
I donated what before the collective, the year before the collective was last time I donated.
Oh, okay. So, well, I'm a member of the collective and stuff, so I pay every month. I'm really happy with the collective. I mean, they've got a lot of neat little things they do for you,
Yeah.
and you can get all kinds of little stuff that that you can't get anywhere else, right? And you
Yeah.
can get stuff that you can't get anywhere else. But I can remember, so they sent out this thing. Well, Neil Brown's doing the uh, what do they call it up there? Where he brings in the high school students and they play and just have fun around their
Camps.
camps.
Yeah.
Right, so they opened this up and they sent me an invite to it, early as a member of the NIL collective. So they sent me the invite early and stuff. Man, it's expensive to go to that though. I mean, it's absolutely out of the world. So I'm not going to be able to go to that, but it's neat too because like the following week I got to get a bottle of whiskey, one of the first runs out of a distillery for West Virginia University. I guess it's some kind of a distillery to do with them. So I got an early on that to get a bottle of whiskey. Pretty cool. So they have these little things that you can get, and you can get priority seating at the games and stuff. It really is. I tell everybody, yeah, you need to join the collective.
You can join for $1. So
yeah, even if you join at the lowest level, I think I pay 59. I think 50 something, or hell, I don't even know. It just comes out automatically. I think it's 50 something a month. That's what I pay. And I know I don't have the highest level. I wish I could afford that. I would do it if I could. But to just be a member of the collective is really a great thing. So I highly encourage it for anybody. So yeah, so after you're a member for 3 months, that's when they mail you your stuff because you've got to be a member for 3 consecutive months to get any of the benefits. So
okay.
That's the one thing about it. You can't join and then get your T-shirts and your everything that you're going to get in the mail. You're not going to get that from just joining. You have to be a member for 3 months. So Timothy is saying, our first year, I would say 18 to 22 wins would be fantastic.
That would be great.
I think
that's the sweet spot. That's an A+, Tim, for coach. If he can get, if that is an A+. If he gets like 17 or 18, that's probably a B. Anything above 20 is an A.
It's going to be somewhere between 15 and 18 wins. I think this will land somewhere between 15 and 18 wins.
Yeah.
Now the reason for that is we don't have a team. We don't have anybody. So we're having to bring everybody in. And I know we're hitting transfer portal. We're hitting recruiting trail in some high school students. But at the same time, we don't have a team. These guys.
There's only one high school kid that they have signed, and he's a small guard. Yeah. And a lot of these guys that he had at Drake, other than that 168 cat, I mean, they're small forwards. The one young man looks like Screech from Saved by the Bell. So, he's 6 foot. So I don't know, but he was productive. A lot of these guys were very productive in the Missouri Valley Conference. So I'll be very interested to see who he takes. There are some studs that he has at Drake that he could bring over, but the kid from what was his name? Mike Peavy. He was he's in the transfer portal. I would like to maybe see him, but he only has 1 year left. But yeah, he's in the portal, and I think he's a TCU guy. But
so last year, every time a kid hit the portal, if they were number 1 or number 2 in the portal, you knew West Virginia was going after them. And guess what? We got most of them, right? Yeah. Then the thing happened with Huggins. They all just like vanished, disappeared, left, whatever. A couple of them stayed on, but hell, they couldn't carry a team. Well, so now this year, I don't think the NIL collective is going to throw all that money into that program right now, knowing it's a brand new coach, knowing it's got to get his stuff established and build right. And he's already said in his press conference, we're going to go after players not because we need them, but because they want to be with us. They want to be here, right?
Yeah,
We're
he's
not going
looking
to
for
take
that
them.
fit.
We're
Yeah,
not going
yeah,
to take
he's
them
looking
just
for that
because
fit.
they're looking for a place to play, and we're looking
Yeah.
for a team. We're not doing that. We're going to go after that fit, and I think that's a smart way to do it. Hey, if he only gets 8 players this year, and 6 of them are going to have a next couple of years with him right up there in Morgantown, okay. Well, I think that's all we got this year. But guess what? We've got 8 players that really want to play, so I'm happy. And then the next year we bump it to 11 players. If it's what he's got to do. I know he's going to try to fill the full court and get 15, 16 players or whatever, but let's just say he can't. Let's just say he can just get 10. Would you rather have 10 quality players, or would you rather have 15 players and only 5 of them are quality, and the other 10 are just?
I'd like for them to start with like that Maxine Renard. He's like a 7'1" French kid, was playing for Stanford. He's looking for a home. There's lots of talent out there. Tucker DeVries is still on. One poll he was 5th, the other he's 12th, and he was a great get. Even though it's his own kid, he still has to recruit him. But having him on board this early, he's going to be reaching out to people he's played against. He's going to be reaching out to AAU buddies. That's what helped Huggins these past couple years, is these guys word of mouth going out there. Hey, we got something going here in Morgantown. Come play some ball with us. We're going to make it happen. And that's what has to happen for the Mountaineers. But that's all I have for tonight, Joey. What do you have anything going on this week? Yeah, I hear you have a new show. You want to talk about it? Your new Thursday show?
We have a new show coming up on the Big 12 channel with Voice of College Football. It's going to be a trivia show. It's called Takedown. So how I'm going to do it is every week I will have a guest host. I will be the host of the show, but we will bring on someone that hosts a college football show somewhere around the country. Not necessarily on YouTube. It might be somebody from a podcast. It might be somebody from Twitter. It might be somebody from a newspaper. But we bring them on as college football, geniuses or whatever, college football analysts. And we let the fans come in and take them on in trivia. So if I have David Smoke on one night and you get to challenge him for trivia, most of the questions would revolve around where David Smoke is a fan of, which would be Nebraska football. He's a Nebraska fan. So I would revolve the questions around Nebraska. And then if you're a Nebraska fan and you'd like to challenge David, you can come on. So this week is Mark Rogers. It's set every Thursday at noon. It's the kickoff of this show. This Thursday, we're kicking off with Mark Rogers. Anybody like to challenge Mark Rogers, come into the chat there. Let us know. If you'd like to come on the show and challenge Mark Rogers, it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. And, we'll even have Shane on there so you guys can challenge Shane at college football one day. So, but I'm going to go around, just grab host. We'll have Pigskin Pete. I'll try to get Uncle Lou. We'll try to get Coach Coop. We'll try to get everybody.
You probably don't have anybody that has a little bit of Army football knowledge, but I know
I
those.
I do.
You do? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's good.
But you can come on and be an Army expert too. I mean, that's
I don't know. I just know like there's like a decade and a half where they were just.
Shane says, I just know they got 11 players on each side of the ball.
Yeah, I can do the rocket. Use some rah. Yeah, guys, that's fantastic. And then we still have our Big 12 show, our Big 12 fan zone. It's going to be this Thursday at 7. Join us there.
Thursday is shaping up to be a big day on the Big 12 show because it's going to have that trivia game at noon. College football trivia game, and that's going to be every friggin' Thursday. And then every friggin' Thursday we have the college or the Big 12 shows, football.
And then tomorrow at 9, I will be on Steelers Dynasty. That's a Steelers podcast for NFL fans, like the Pittsburgh Steelers with Big Bubba Brewer. And I have and then last week I was on Steelers Nation Australia. So there's an Australian guy that has a podcast, and he is phenomenal. So you can catch Joey Thursday for his new show. We're going to be on the Big 12 Fan Zone, and then Friday. What's the show you're on Friday, Joey?
Friday is it kind of goes around in circles for me. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm on traveling pool. Sometimes I do a show on Mark Rogers. Sometimes
Yeah.
I do nothing on Fridays. And so this week I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to be this Friday. We'll let everybody know by Thursday, but I don't know right now.
Now, Friday night, I will be on the Triple B Experience, and we'll be talking about WrestleMania. So, yeah, we're
that Pittsburgh Sports Show. Do you ever have Craig Wolfley on there? Have you ever had Craig Wolfley?
No.
So he's also the color analyst for
Pittsburgh. Yeah, we'd love to have Craig on, but we've never had Craig on.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can help you out there. Talk to him.
That'd be great. We'd love that. Because we just started, it used to be this Black and Gold Dynasty, and we put Steelers Dynasty in it to help the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because we had the same show was doing wrestling and Steelers, and it was confusing the algorithm. But we took your advice, Joey, since you're the wizard, and this is 2 weeks. It's been Steelers Dynasty, and the other podcast I think had 1,200 subs, but this new one I think we're starting from scratch. But we have some regulars. We have like 5 regulars, so it's good. But yeah, Joey, thank you again for coming on, being the partner in crime. I don't know if I'm Cheech or you're Chong, or you're Chong and I'm Cheech.
Figured out, Timothy. Here's the thing, truthfully, Timothy in the chat there, we still ain't figured out what the hell we're doing here on this show.
I like this. I like talking West Virginia news. That's what I want to talk about.
Fun, but we don't know where we're going to go with the conversation. We don't sit it. A lot of people think we might sit and talk. We never sit and talk.
We try not to talk because it's more spontaneous. We were talking too much before, and we kicked the show off early because we're using all our good juice.
Yeah, we're just sitting in the back room talking football. We might as well just go
good stuff.
Yeah, so we got to carry the good stuff to you guys. So we don't talk these shows. We come on, and whatever each other has to bring up, we bring it up and talk about it. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Thanks, Tim. Show. Quality over quantity. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tim. Have a great one.
Anybody wants to know where I'm going to go? I'm going to go over to Gutters Pub. Gutters Pub is a YouTube channel. Not anything to do with college football. She's more like camping, hiking, stuff like that. And I've been promising her I'd be a guest on her show for like weeks, and it was supposed to be last week. And guess what I did? I went and forgot. I almost forgot this week. I ain't forgot.
No, we remembered. That's why we're. Yeah. So guys, like and subscribe, share it. Any suggestions you have, hit us up, and I love to hear from you. And we love talking college football, West Virginia news, and such. You have a great rest of your evening.
Have a great day, everybody.